Those will be gone. But what did he do? He did the exact opposite. We are more divided now than I've ever seen in my lifetime.
And you're not allowed to be proud of the country. You can't be proud of this country. You have to talk about how horrible a country it is.
Patriot. No, because he doesn't like the country.
Yeah.
He's an Islamic fascist, I believe. He doesn't like America, and, he won't even say the word Islamic extremism,
right,
which is beyond me, which is just a tactic, by the way. It's a tactic of a government, which is fascism, which is what they've done to Islam. They've just politicized Islam and turned it into a fascist government.
It's a strange happening that I relate it to Jimmy Carter. You're too young, but when Jimmy Carter was the president, we didn't have any nationalism. We weren't supposed to like our country. There's a lot of malaise. Everything cost too much. We were waiting in line to get gasoline. And I believe Barack Obama was the second and now third term of Jimmy Carter. It really is very much like America was in 1977.
That's right. And then Donald Trump's going to come along, and here comes Ronald Reagan. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I think the messages are the same. I think the messages are very similar. But when you say he's Ronald Reagan, the ultra-conservatives have a fit.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's too bad. That's just too bad. It's going to happen, and he's going to make the country great again. And just because he's not ultra-conservative does not mean he's not a Republican.
Yeah.
That does not mean that. And it does not mean that he's not the man for the job.
I've interviewed him a couple of times. I mean, if you sit down and talk to Donald Trump, I mean, what the guy has to say and his track record of success speaks volumes, but it's much easier to take a soundbite and attack that or misconstrue something he said about Muslims not being able to come here or whatever.
Right.
It's Stacey Dash. The name of the book is There Goes My Social Life, From Clueless to Conservative. It's available now, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle. Get it right now. It's an amazing expose on her life and the very important changes that you've gone through in that life. I talk about this all the time. I'm in South Texas, so we're actually in Texas. It's a majority minority state. There are more minorities than there are white folks, and that's cool. I'm fine with that. But what I find amazing is that it's assumed that black people will vote Democrat. It's assumed that Latinos will vote Democrat.
Right.
But you and I think, would agree that most blacks and Latinos are Christian. Most are anti-abortion. Most are for smaller government, lower taxes.
Yes.
Why is it that Democrats can assume, Stacey, that these folks will vote for them?
Because they have Hollywood. The liberal elites own Hollywood, and Hollywood dictates the culture of the country. So as long as they do that, they control the narrative. They control the narrative that is fed to the country, the propaganda. It's like 21st century Nazism. It's ridiculous.
Well, you're fed it constantly. You're fed it constantly that this is the way you have to vote. The Republicans enslaved you. The Republicans hate you. And then when you ask somebody individually about how they feel on individual issues, no, there isn't a black person I've ever talked to that would vote for Barack Obama if they voted on issues. No. Like I said, they make their money. They want to keep their money. They have their guns. They want to keep their guns. These are very Republican principles. It's Stacey Dash. The name of the book is, I want you to go and get it right now, There Goes My Social Life, From Clueless to Conservative. One of the issues, and one of my last questions, I know that you're busy, you got a lot of interviews lined up, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
But one of the issues that is a one-issue voting issue for both the left and the right is abortion. And you were, pro-choice, no problem, what's the big deal? Until something incredible happened in your life, and then you made the switch. What was it?
It was God speaking to me. I was on the abortion table. I was very young, and I was using a lot of drugs, and I just didn't feel like I could bring a child into this world. I was in an unstable relationship. It was a volatile relationship, and it was an abusive relationship. And I just thought, you know what, there's no way. And while I was on that table, I could not stop crying. And so I said to God, please tell me what to do. I don't want to sign. I want you to tell me. And God told me, as clearly as I'm speaking to you right now, he said, keep your son. He even told me it was a boy. So I ripped the IV out of my arm, because I was so far along they would have had to put me under.
Wow.
I ripped the IV out of my arm. I jumped up off the table. My doctor says, okay, calm down. Let's go do a sonogram, make sure everything's okay. Did the sonogram, and I saw my son's little heart beating. And I just thought, Jesus Christ, how could I have possibly considered killing my unborn child? It just hit me right then and there. No.
What's amazing to me is that you're unafraid. You're unabashed. You'll tell Hollywood, this is how I feel about abortion. This is how I feel about the Second Amendment. This is how I feel about conservative politics and what's right for America. You're unafraid. It's like you don't care if they ever put you in another movie or on another TV show, because you're using your celebrity for all that I can see is good. I think it's wonderful.
I'm fighting the good fight, and what God wants for me, no man can keep from me.
Well, can I tell you how impressed I was before I started talking to you today, and now I'm completely mind blown. I got to tell you, Stacey, I'm a huge fan, and the fact that you've taken some time to talk to my listeners and to me, it really is a thrill for me. The name of the book is There Goes My Social Life, From Clueless to Conservative. It's available now on all the usual places. Stacey, I hope you sell 2 billion of them.
Thank you so much. Thank you. From your mouth to God's ears.
Exactly right.
Yes.
All right, there you go. We had a great time talking to her. If you missed any part of the interview,